Konnichiwa, Japan fans. Today's show, we're going to talk about service. Zaegyo desu. それでは行きましょう. So let's get going. This is the 7th year of the Sales Japan series podcast, broadcasting around the world from the Beverly Hills of Japan, Minato-ku, here in downtown Tokyo. It is chic central. I'm your host, Dr. Greg Story, Dale Carnegie Tokyo franchise owner, the president of Dale Carnegie Tokyo Training, and the 3-time best-selling author of Japan Sales Mastery, which is Zaegyo in Japanese, Japan Business Mastery, and Japan Presentations Mastery. Plus, stop wasting money on training in Japanese, training de okane o muda ni suru no wa yamimashou, and these are all available now on Amazon. In this podcast, I want to help you to survive and even better, thrive in business. 1, sell more, do it more easily. 2, exceed your targets, in fact, blow up your targets. 3, make some serious money. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with your family, friends, and colleagues. We are not being sponsored by Libsyn, but we value your privacy, which is why we have our podcast hosted by Libsyn. Unlike many other hosting organizations, Libsyn have a strict policy that does not allow access to your private information by anyone. Here is our daily podcast lineup on Apple Podcasts. Mondays, the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show podcast. Tuesday, the Presentations Japan series. And every second Tuesday, the Business Touches in no Oshie show. Wednesdays, the Sales Japan series. Thursdays, the Leadership Japan series. And every second Thursday, the Business Pro Podcasto show. Fridays, the Japan Business Mastery Show podcast. Saturdays, Japan's top business interviews. Now, this is episode number 320. Today, we are talking about over-servicing Japanese buyers. A very common complaint from foreign bosses here in Japan is that their sales staff are over-servicing the Japanese buyer. Sometimes they are left to wonder who their staff are really working for, their company or the client's company. I am sure there are many sales bosses based outside Japan thinking, that is a type of problem I would like to have with my sales crew. When we travel out of Japan and we're exposed to service in Western countries, there's always such a negative contrast with Japan. For the most part, we are interacting with the service industry in airports, hotels, restaurants, and shops. We'll have to draw on our memory of what the B2B service standards were like before we got to Japan to recall what the proper comparison should be. American B2C service is the outlier because it is so strongly driven by their tipping culture, which doesn't really apply that much in the rest of the world where service industry staff are properly remunerated through their salaries. Australia is a better comparison because we have a similar non-tipping culture to Japan. I was down there attending a funeral for my relative recently and staying at a city hotel when the valet parking young guy scratched my rental car. Interestingly, he didn't make a beeline for me to immediately apologise. In Japan, that would be unthinkable. He did eventually apologise, but the timing was too slow from my Japan-trained point of view. His manager took over and organised the insurance companies to get to work, and he also eliminated the valet parking charges for my stay. That would be a basic response. And if that had been Japan, there would no doubt have been additional things they have done to compensate me for the inconvenience. Here is the difference. In the West, we are trained to think in terms of minimums of service, but Japan is trained to think in terms of maximums. A big part of the over-servicing culture here is driven by the buyer's expectations of what they regard as appropriate service levels. So we have the foreign minimums boss dealing with the maximums Japanese sales staff, and the divide is large. The Japanese staff also have a long-term view. Foreign bosses come and go, but customers are based here and are not leaving Dodge for the next posting. I also found that when commissions are involved, staff are happy to get the deal and get paid, no matter how much over-servicing is involved. The company may be the loser, but they are the winner, and they are fine, because they are not seeing the total financial picture. The boss, though, is seeing all of this and isn't happy with the productivity. Bosses are also not happy with the amount of discounting that gets done to land the deal. It always seems the sales staff are too quick to drop the price and to give extras to get it all across the line. This is a tricky balance because, as the boss, you cannot be involved in the entrails of every deal, and you have to trust your people to do their best to get the revenue in. Usually, we are involved post-agreement, remonstrating with sales staff on why they agreed to such overgenerous terms to get the business. By that time, it's way too late, and you cannot go back to the client and renegotiate the deal if you want to keep the business. Find out more. We come back from the break. Today's show is brought to you by our public courses, but we also are doing custom in-house programs. We do them in both Japanese and English. We do them in our super safe classroom and live online. Now, on the 16th of December, we'll have our Successful Public Speaking one-day program. This is a great program for learning how to structure your talk, learning how to deal with the Q&A, learning how to present it, how to deliver it, and then getting lots and lots of practical coaching. So a great little one-day program for you. On the 19th of December, we'll have our one-day time management program. Probably one of the most critical skills, time management, and yet so poorly trained in time management. So this is going to be a great way to catch that up. On the 20th of December, we'll have our Step Up the Leadership program. This is how to understand what your role is as a leader as opposed to a manager. How to coach your people, communicate with your people, and get production through your people. Excellent program. Go to our website at www.dale-carnegie.co.jp. That's www.dale-carnegie.co.jp. Lots and lots of value there for you. To do better in Japan, email me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. If you like learning by watching video, then we have nearly 2,000 there for you at Tokyo, Japan, Dale Carnegie TV on YouTube. Welcome back. So what is the answer here? Briefing staff on where the line of generosity is being breached is a good idea. But often they will just ignore that and go for the deal anyway. They know it is not a fireable offence. In a few years, you'll be gone anyway, so just hang in there and keep the relationship with the client because that is way more valuable than the one with the current boss. We can try and influence the behaviour by adjusting the commissions paid. You would think that salespeople who get paid by commission would be really keen and highly motivated to defend the price as much as possible to gain the highest commission. But that is rarely the case in Japan. They prefer to keep the buyer happy and take the hit on their own remuneration. They see the long-term relationship as being more beneficial for them, and they prefer a deal to no deal. Now, this has a deleterious impact on the company's revenues, but that isn't their main concern. If we're dealing with a chronic discounter, we may need a bit of shock therapy here. We can set a limit on how much they can discount the price and then adjust their commission savagely if they go beyond that red line. For example, say we said 15% was the red line, and if they go above that, we will have to have them bear part of the pain. They're already down 15%, but we will also take another 15% off that lower figure to further substantially reduce their commission. Another approach would be to do more coaching on the value they provide so that they can change the content of their communication with the buyer. Over time, buyers beat up our salespeople on pricing and weaken their belief in the value of what they are providing. We need to resuscitate their clarity around the value they bring to the buyer and the way they convey that on the sales call. We presume they know the value they bring to the equation, but they can forget key components or not give them enough credence. We need to reschool them on the finer points of the value continuum. The cultural predilection in Japan for over-servicing buyers isn't going away anytime soon. We can try and reduce any negative impacts it may have, although we know we won't be able to control it perfectly. There are a few levers we can exercise to limit the damage. We should look for where we can scale things back rather than just resigning ourselves to this is the norm and we just have to accept it. Nothing is easy here, and there is always going to be some ongoing challenge, so we have to be up to dealing with it. Thank you for joining the Sales Japan series. If you found the program useful, then please work on your karma and share this with your family, friends and colleagues. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast. Immediately apply what you've learned today. Go out there and survive. Use it and make some serious money. Bucks, dough, moolah, coin, dosh, lolly, ready, smackers, earners and bread and honey. Remember, I'm in your corner, committed to your success here in Nippon.